Hey y'all, and welcome to the kitchen. Today we are doing a shortcut supper that's going to have you canceling your Asian takeout order in a flash. This is going to be my chicken and rice stir fry, and my kids honestly ask for this to have extra so they can eat it all week long and even pack it for lunch. So the first thing I want to talk about is what do we have here for ingredients and what is our shortcut ingredient. So I've got some chicken breast here, boneless, skinless chicken breast. We're going to use 2 of these and save 2 for later. And then I've got some pre-cooked yellow rice. This yellow saffron rice has a heavy hitting flavor for a rice mix, and I love to have a lot of this on hand. I highly recommend it. I also have some frozen broccoli stir fry. We are not going to cook this completely by the package instructions. We're going to knock the chill off of this for about 2 minutes in the microwave, and then I'll have just regular vegetables ready to go in my pan. That's a super tip if you don't want your vegetables to end up mushy. Don't follow the package ingredients if you intend on continuing to cook them. Do a partial cook in your microwave, open the package, and finish it on the stovetop. So first thing I'm going to do with these is I'm going to get those in the microwave in just a second so they can just thaw. But before that, I'm going to get started on my chicken. And we're going to marinate it for just a few minutes in this bag, but the marinade's not going to have any problem getting really good in there because we're going to strip our chicken. Cut it into strips. That was a lot out of my mouth. I don't know why, but it was. We're going to cut our chicken into strips so it gets all the flavor in there really quickly. And I'm going to tell you, I've got some flavor bombs here that take almost no effort. Open in a few bottles and you will be impressed how much flavor they have. So I'm going to get 2 of these breasts out. We're going to save 2 for later. This is a really good tip if you want to keep your budget going very safely and effectively, if you know what I mean. When you've got teenage boys or big eaters in your house, use your meat as a portion of the meal, not the main thing. It's called meat on the side, but this is really enough meat for about 4 people. So I've got 2 pretty good sized chicken breasts, and I'm going to cut it into little finger sized strips, and I'm going to go back through and cut it again one more time to where they're about bite-sized pieces. About inch or so in your mouth is perfect for biting. And if you have little ones, you can cut it a little bit smaller. But for this, I'm doing this 1 through the middle, and we should be perfect in business. And I'm going to do the other one just like that. Then we'll build everything in my Ziploc bag. I love to marinate in a Ziploc bag because as soon as you're done, it goes in the trash can and you do not have to wash a dish. But the thing I do like to say is if you're marinating in a Ziploc bag, put it on a dish in case it leaks, because if it does, you'd rather clean a quick little dish than have to clean your whole counter, or if you carry it around, you have to follow the trail of marinade on your floor, and you don't want to do that. Spoken like somebody who may have done it before. So I'm going to get my 2 chicken breasts in here, and this is, like I said, this is going to be very filling. It's got rice, it's got vegetables, it's got chicken. I'm keeping my dirty hand in my clean hand, so let's just check the method, okay? Clean hand, dirty hand. In with the chicken. Try not to touch the edge of the bag as much as you can, but it's no big deal if you do it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to wash my dirty hand, and then I'll seal that up after I get some marinade in it. Okay. Now, for my marinade, we've got some heavy-hitting ingredients, and while they are not many, they are mighty. So first thing I have is some sesame oil, and a little bit of sesame oil goes a very long way. It has a really good nutty flavor to it. So I'm going to use about half of a teaspoon of sesame oil. If you don't trust yourself, absolutely measure sesame oil because it has a tendency to take over a whole dish. If you don't want to measure in teaspoons, you can measure in dashes because it often has a protective lid to keep it from coming out too fast. I would do about 10 dashes. Then I've got some soy sauce. I'm going to go in with about 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce for 2 pieces of chicken. If you're doubling this, double the marinade as well. 1 little 1/4 of a cup. I eyeball everything, y'all. I've been cooking long enough. There's just no reason for me to measure. I'm going to go in with a couple of teaspoons of garlic powder. I measure in my hand. This center right here, I'll show you all the time. I show this. So this right here is a tablespoon in the very center of my hand. So if I fill that up to about half, that's going to be a teaspoon. So if I do that twice, that's 2 teaspoons. So what this is a garlic and herb blend. I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons or a tablespoon of garlic and herb blend into my marinade. Anytime you can find these blends on sale, or if you have one that you just love and you keep on hand all the time, use that. This is a salt-free version because we have soy sauce and other things that have salt going in here. I just like to control mine. That's a good tip too. Okay, and in this shaker, this is something I keep on hand at my house all the time. This is a mixture of salt, onion powder, and garlic powder. The ratio is 2 tablespoons of salt to 1 tablespoon of garlic and 1 tablespoon of onion. I keep it on my counter and I just pour it out 1,000 times a week, it feels like. Ready for me. So the salt is in here, and there's also some soy sauce in here, making that good and seasoned. Okay, so I'm going to use my bag to my advantage. I'm going to get all the air out, and then I'm just going to rub my chicken really, really good to make sure everybody is incorporated. There's no one spot that has a lot of seasoning and something that doesn't have anything on it. Everybody's getting covered. And then I'm going to put my chicken in a little dish because, like I said, if you've got a hole in your Ziploc bag, it'll go on the counter. Or it'll follow you all over the kitchen, whichever one. So we're going to put it in a dish and save it for later. Okay, so now I'm going to just go ahead and put these vegetables in for about 2 minutes. And when we get back, I'll show you how to do the next steps on this meal. Okay, y'all, we're back, and I'm getting my vegetables out of the microwave. They really are just thawed at this point because they only went for about 2 minutes, and now I'm ready to start assembling my dish. So I'm going to preheat my pan to about medium-high heat. I'm going to take my heat to about a level 8. Mine goes all the way up to a 10, so level 8 is where I'm at on my heat. And I'm going to start into my pan with my chicken first. But before my chicken goes in, I got to get a little oil in there. So I'm going to start with about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. You can use olive oil or vegetable oil. Avocado is just my very favorite right now. And honestly, it's super good for you. I love it so much. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of that. And then we're going to add just a 2 or 3 dashes of this sesame oil. Again, it has a lot of flavor, so just a little bit goes a very long way. You don't want it to overtake. And I'm also going to make sure when I get my chicken into my pan that everybody has its own space in the pan. You want it to be all spread out and nobody to be crowded, because anytime you have crowded chicken in a pan, it's going to end up steaming instead of searing. And the searing portion is what really brings home the flavor, because we've said it before in Mama Whitten's kitchen. We'll say it again. I learned it from Ann Burrell. Brown food tastes good. So in honor of her, brown food is what you want, guys. Okay, so we're about ready to get our chicken in our pan. I see a little bit of rippling in my oil, so here we go. My chicken's, like I said, going to go all in at the same time, and then I'm going to spread it out and make sure everybody has their own spot. It's like playing on your own spot on the playground. Keep your little space, your circle. Okay, so we're going to spread this out, and this is cut so thin that it will cook in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, and it will be done. So really what I'm just trying to do here is get a good sear on both sides of my chicken, and then we're going to take the chicken out of the pan, cook the veggies in the same thing, and then we're going to assemble this all in one pan together. Because if you are like me and you can have one dish to clean at the end for dinner, amen and hallelujah. I'll prep and I'll clean and I'll do all my dishes before, but if all I have is one sole dish left after we're done eating, I'm going to do a little happy dance. So that's what my goal is for other mamas too. Less dishes, more money in the budget for shopping. You name it, I've got your back. I know what you need. Okay, so this is doing a good little sizzle, and in just a minute I'll get it all browned and show you what's next. Okay, y'all, so my seared chicken is completely cooked through. It's cooked for about 2 minutes on the first side and a good 1.5 to 2 minutes on the second side. This chicken is so small that really that's all it takes. So right now what I have in my pan, this hot chicken is going to come out. I'm going to put it in a bowl, and then we're going to go in with our stir-fry vegetables. When you build everything in the same pan, you really do keep all of your flavor there, and it just continues to build and taste delicious. What I'm going to do though is I'm not cleaning this pan. We're going to keep all those brown bits in the bottom, and they're going to just add and compound in flavor everything I add to it from here on out. So I'm going to go in with a little bit more oil, just about a tablespoon at this point, because there is a tiny bit left in our pan. And then I'm going to put in my whole bag of broccoli stir fry. This is where you can use what you love the most. This is open for interpretation. But what I did with this, again, I made sure this is just at this point thawed out, not cooked through. And I've got my high heat back in my pan, medium high heat. So I'm just going to go in with my stir fry. And immediately you want that sear on vegetables, on meat, on everything. You want to hear that noise because that means your pan's hot enough and it means you're going to get a good caramelized outside. So I'm going to spread these things out, make sure my heat's on really good, and I'm going to give these about 2 minutes in the pan. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to season it with a little bit of the seasonings that mirror my meat, so we're all consistent in flavor. So to my veggies, I'm going to add a good tablespoon or so of this seasoning blend. This is a garlic and herb seasoning blend. And this is a good size amount of vegetables. That's why I'm going to go with a whole tablespoon here, because vegetables really need to be flavorful so they don't get turned down at the table. Let's make sure those vegetables taste like something. And then I'm going to add in just a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, depending on how you like your saltiness, of salt. Remember, everything's going to be in here at the same time at the end. So we're building flavor, not seasoning for completeness. So we season and have flavor on chicken, we have flavor on veggies, and we have flavor on rice. When they all get combined and together, that's going to make your best version of your flavor profile. Every layer being seasoned. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you about this rice. We talked about it a little bit in the beginning. This is yellow saffron rice, easy to find. You can find it in the regular rice aisle, but you can also find it in the ethnic aisle sometimes. Literally, you can buy it in packages from this size to this size. So get what fits your family the best. The 2-cup package is what works for our family most of the time. If everybody's home, I get one size bigger, but often our big boys are not here with us on dinner time every week. So I'm just going to break it up and make sure it's separated with my spoon. It's totally cool. You always, if you pre-cook rice or if you're cooking rice and you're going to reheat it in any kind of application, make sure it's totally cool first, because it'll get mushy and just become one little clump of mushy rice if you continue to cook it in this application. So I literally cooked it exactly to the package directions and let it cool completely. Didn't have to add anything at all. If I do like to add something to this, sometimes I do add some fresh herbs, like some cilantro or some scallions. That's really the only thing that you have to add to bump up the flavor in this, but you definitely don't have to. So my veggies are going and they smell amazing. And we're going to go ahead and give them a quick little toss, sear them around on another little side, and then before you know it, it's going to be time to add my chicken back in. Okay, so we've done about 2 minutes total on our veggies. They are really good and browned on the first side. Tossed them around and got them really started on the second side. So now I'm going to go back in with my chicken. But y'all, I'm going to taste this chicken real quick so I know where it's at. It's important to taste your food. Oh yeah, it's really well seasoned. It makes me want to happy dance. That is so good. Oh, I cannot wait to eat this. And the good news is, I get to eat this by myself today. That almost never happens. Okay, chicken going in. I get to enjoy my meal by myself. Oh! It's the small things when you're in motherhood. Okay, so everybody's in, and this is just the point where we're getting everybody married together. Everybody tasting like it goes in one dish. Okay? So yummy. Now, I want to show you the colors on this. Look how pretty this is. Y'all, you eat with your eyes first, so let your eyes get excited. Now, this is getting all kinds of happy together. I'm going to scoot my meat to one side. And this is a little funny part of the process, but it is actually what I do every time, and I'm teaching you the way I would do it. And I'm going to go ahead and get my rice in the empty side of the pan. And I'm going to put a little bit of oil on the bottom of my pan. You could also use butter, but just a little bit of oil on the empty side of the pan. And what's that going to do? What that's going to do, that was a mouthful, is it's going to give you just a little bit of a crust on the underside of your rice. And that's going to give you an extra layer of flavor that has that little fried rice sort of background hint to it. Really, really good tip here. So basically, I'm just taking my rice and I'm getting it seasoned on the bottom by searing it in this brown goodness that has built on the bottom of my pan. Again, I'm working on medium to medium high heat. You really want your sizzle going here. Okay, so that's all spread out. Now, to marry this in all together like a stir fry, we want to add a little bit more soy sauce at the end. So I'm going to take my soy sauce and I'm going to add it to my rice. I'm only going to add about a tablespoon and a half here. Another thing I like to add, and this is up to you, is sriracha. I will add that myself later. But if you have a house full of adults or people that love spicy food, add a couple tablespoons of sriracha here and you won't regret it. But if you've got babies like me, 5 and under, you want to just keep careful with the heat. So I seasoned just the rice with soy sauce. I'm going to pull the veggies and the meat back over the top of it till it's all one layer on the bottom of the pan. The thing with the rice is you don't want to stir it aggressively or too terribly much. You really are just trying to make one cohesive dish and get the rice to the bottom of the pan for a few little seconds to get crispy. Okay, delicious. Now, because we seasoned every layer, I'm going to turn my heat off. Because we seasoned every layer, you're not going to be hurting for seasonings here. You are going to be really happy with your flavor. So I'm going to plate this up and show it to you. And then I'm going to have a little bit of quiet time. Okay, what plate do I want? Let's see. We'll get this one. When you eat with your eyes first, you always, always, always are more excited than you ever would be. So when something is colorful like this, well, one thing, you know it's going to be healthier than things that maybe are not colorful. But you also are just really feeling satisfied. I would get this in a takeout thing and I would feel heavy afterwards. I am not going to feel heavy or bloated or any way regret this. So here we go. I'm going to taste it. I'm so glad you shared this meal with me. And always, always come back for more shortcut suppers. Like and subscribe to Mama Whitten's Kitchen. I'm so excited to see you guys every single week. Happy cooking, y'all. Until next time.